Hello and welcome back to Daily Diaries. Boy, is it nice to be home. I've been traveling for so much now, and you know, between going to Japan and Budapest, it sure is nice to be back. And I thought I'd go through a little bit of an overview of the trips and what my plan is for the, weeks before we go to Japan. So, well, how many weeks have we got left now? What, like 10 weeks until it's like all over? I think we leave in like 6 weeks as well, which is kind of crazy. 7 weeks. Anyway, it's not very long now to go until the Olympic Games, and it's exciting to come back off the back of the performances in Japan and in Budapest, but I wanted to kind of like break them down a little bit and go through what they actually, how they relate to my other performances. In Japan, the first event that I had was the synchro competition with Matty, and the thing that I loved about that, like the prelim was great. I mean, we still could have got more out of our first 2 dives. They were good. They weren't anything like amazingly, incredible. So here are our first 2. So as you can see, like they are, they're pretty good, pretty steady. And then we moved on to our inward 3.5, and in the prelim, it was our, well, it was, I'd say it was the best synchro with 3.5 we've ever done. Have a look. And then after that little cracker, we had our back 3.5 pike, which again was steady. The same with our reverse and the same with our front, and we actually had a really consistent performance. So have a look at those last 3. Overall, we were really happy with that performance, showing great consistency. We had a little bit of room for improvement, but to be able to compete for the first time in the Olympic pool was epic. So really happy with the way that that went. After a little bit of a rest, we then had to go into the final, and the final again was very, consistent, and that's how we like it. So like overall, everything was really good. Our highlight dive, I'd have to say, was our 5th round dive, our reverse 3.5, because again, it was one of the best ones that we've ever done. And here are the rest of the dives as well, so you can see them. After that synchro competition, we came away with a gold medal, and like I said in the vlog during the competition, the Chinese divers weren't there and also the top Russian team was not there, but it was still good to be able to get a hit out against the rest of the countries that are going to be there at the Olympic Games. And not only that, the fact that we had the opportunity to compete against them at the European Championships, so I'll come on to that when we get to the Europeans. But for now, we had the individual event, and I'm just going to do a sweeping overview of this competition. I had some good dives in there, some not so good dives. Generally, it was pretty consistent. I won the prelim, second in the semi-final, and won the final. I came second on one of them, and I feel like it might have been the semi-final. Anyway, generally, here's the gist of some of my dives in the competition. You know, coming away with 2 gold medals at the World Cup I was really happy with. You know, I've never won a gold medal at a World Cup before and I came away with 2, so really happy with that. And like the diving pool in Tokyo was a really, I know it sounds weird, but it's like an easy pool to dive in. Like weren't any distractions. Like for me, I hate it when the scoreboards are on and you see yourself diving, but at a slight delay when you're spinning around. I hate seeing that. So the fact that when you're standing on the diving board, the scoreboards are facing towards the audience that might not be there. And that kind of just made it so much easier to be able to focus on competing. So I cannot wait to go back and, you know, compete again at the Olympics. So now we're on to the European Championships, and the travel from Japan to Budapest was killer. We were out for like 30 hours with no sleep and we were exhausted because, you know, we wanted to do really well at the World Cup because that was like our main event that we were peaking towards, because everybody had to get their Olympic spots, and it's the first time that British Diving has got all of their Olympic quota spots, so all 12 places, I think there's 12 places. So we were really happy about that. So when we got to Budapest, we had a few days of training, and then the first competition was a synchro competition. And like I was saying about the synchro World Cup, is that we didn't have China and we didn't have the Russian A team, so we were able to compete against the A team of Russia, and we know it was like a battle all the way through. We were both doing good dive after good dive after good dive, and Matty and I ended up getting a PB, so we were really happy with that and we were really steady all the way through. So here's a little bit of a highlights of what we got up to. Then after the synchro competition, the next day I had the individual, but at this point we were pretty exhausted after traveling and you know, being away for so long. But it was nice to get another competition in. You know, the prelim went pretty well, nothing amazing, nothing drastically too bad. Like there was just like a few things in there that I could have just sharpened up. And then going into the final, a similar thing, you know, I opened up really well. My second dive was not great at all, but then some of my other dives on the way through were getting better and better to, you know, get me close to being able to win the gold, but managed a silver place. So here's some of my dives. Tom Daley! And to be fair, to get 3 golds out of 4 and a silver, you know, if I was told that before I left, I would have been over the moon. So pretty happy with that. And you know, it leaves me in a good place to go into the Olympic Games now. We got a lot of traveling and, well actually no, we got no traveling. We just got training between now and when we leave on July 17th. We've got a camp in London from the 10th of July. So we're just working really hard towards that, honestly. You know, there's gonna be lots of training and I'm gonna try and just, you know, keep my head down and keep working and keep working and keep working because, you know, it's not long until it's all over. And I love a margarita. So today is, well, it's been 10 years since my dad passed away from a brain tumor, and I don't know, I thought I'd come on and just have a little bit of a... What seems really weird is that I can still hear what he would say about every single situation. I can still, you know, imagine what he would be doing with Robbie and all that kind of stuff. So I was, yeah, I thought it does seem really weird. For anyone who's lost a parent, it kind of never really feels real. And I still don't feel like it feels real, but I guess obviously with time you get used to what is the new normal. But, you know, just looking back on some of the things that we did together and some of my favourite memories, like there was this one time when my dad burst into a press conference in 2009 and, you know, when I say burst in, he asked a question pretending to be a journalist, don't know how he got through security, and said that he was my dad and wanted to give me a cuddle. Anyway, this is a little clip of it.
Rob crashed the press conference afterwards.
Tom said, Tom, can you give me a cuddle? Please.
it's little things like that that at the time I found extremely embarrassing. Like I wanted to crawl into a little hole. And lots of the times, you know, you'd always be there with his big flag waving and all that kind of stuff. And to be honest, it was one of those things that, you know, at the time it felt embarrassing, but now being a parent, and it's almost like he's taught me so many lessons. Well, he has taught me so many lessons about how to be a good parent, how to be supportive, how to not be like, it's so funny because I look back and he never ever once pushed me to do anything. Even with, you know, sometimes I would like come out of a training session and say, oh, I can't do it anymore. He's like, okay, let's go get ice cream. And just little things like that, and like not making a big deal of any of it. And it was always driven by me, which was, you know, something that I want to try and really do with Robbie, because, you know, if he has his own opinions about what he wants to do, then we're gonna support him in what he wants to do. But yeah, like just those lessons of like, he didn't care what anyone else thought of him. He just did what he wanted to do, and there was no, it was like, you know, it was like even just little things like on the train, he would like make silly noises and, you know, make, you know, when you land on a flight, you know how the seatbelt sign goes up and everybody stands up. Like as soon as the seatbelt sign would go off, he'd start shouting, everybody up, like, you know, just because obviously you can't go anywhere. And he used to find it hilarious that people used to stand up right away and be ready to get off, even though they had to stand up for 10 minutes. But just little things like that you just wouldn't care what anyone else thought of him. And I think that's something that's really powerful, especially this day and age of social media, is to just do you and make sure that you and your friends are happy and you're making them laugh. And that's what matters most. Yeah, I thought I'd come on here and commemorate, you know, him for, I can't believe it's been 10 years. Like, I mean, I had just turned 17, so he'd missed my first driving test, lessons. He missed the London 2012, he's never seen me win an Olympic medal. Yeah, never got to see me get married, have a kid, go for my first pint, all that kind of stuff, which is, you know, that hurts a little bit, but at the same time, like, I feel like he's with me all the time. So yeah, sorry if that brought the tone of this video down a little bit, but I thought it was important to come on and share that with you. So yeah, I hope anyone that's like dealing with any kind of loss, whether it be a parent, you know, a sibling, grandparent, you know, especially because people have suffered a lot of loss over this last year. So just know that it's best to speak to people and like speak about it, because I bottled it up for so long and didn't speak to anyone about it. So I would highly recommend speaking to, you know, whoever you feel comfortable speaking with, just to, and don't be afraid to, like last night, because that was the 10-year anniversary, he always loved Chinese food, so we ordered Chinese food, and just little things like that that are just able to, you know, have him feel like he's with us is very important, well, to me anyway. So yeah, I hope you, and if, you know, if anyone's going through this right now, know that it will get better. It's really tough at the time, and let it be tough, and let it, you know, let yourself feel those feelings. Don't try and skim them away, because, you know, you want to be able to actually grieve. But anyway, I've waffled on long enough about my dad now, and yeah, he was a good guy. So now, questions and answers. Okay, so first question. What was the weirdest thing a fan ever gave, said, or wrote to you? You know what, I haven't had that many, you know, odd experiences. People often will give me, you know, sweets or chocolate or flowers or little, you know, I've never had anything like strange. Like you hear like people like drag queens, if they mention eggs on a TV show, then they're gonna get eggs. Like Ginger Minj gets eggs given to her every time. Well, I don't have anything, you know, although, you know, it would be nice to have a hookup in Japan with some yarn, because, you know, during the Olympics and the, you know, Olympic Village, I'm not going to be able to get out and get some yarn. So if anybody wants to throw some yarn over the fence, I won't be mad about it. How does Lance deal with a husband who has gone for a long time and combining his work with having a kid? You know, that's a good question. You know, Lance travels a lot with work as well, and I travel with work, and we try to have, well, you know, one of us has to be at home at any one point. But, you know, Robbie also goes to nursery, so, you know, with two working parents, Robbie has to go to nursery during the week so that I can go to the pool and then get him on the way home and things like that. So it's, you know, you make it work. Like you ask any parents that have to both have jobs full time, you have to make it work the best that you can. But then at the same time, it's like Lance took the first year of Robbie, because he didn't go to nursery for his first year. Lance was at home with him and managed to write a book while Robbie was napping in the day. So, you know, I think it's one of those things that you think that you wouldn't be able to manage, but then when you become a parent, you have to make it work. So you figure out ways just to make it work. Next question, so silly question. In all your travels, has your luggage ever gotten lost? And now, yes, my luggage, I was I think it might have been like 2010, something like that. I was traveling to Mexico for a World Series, and I left to, you know, I always pack change of underwear, trunks, towel, and everything that I definitely need in my hand luggage, because you never know when you're gonna lose your bags. So what ended up happening was, I landed in Mexico, my bags weren't there. I was like, okay, fine, might be in a couple of days. So I went and got some clothes and stuff, and it was fine. 2 days later, still not there. 2 days later after that, still not there. And then I had to fly back. I was like, okay, I'm flying back and my luggage could be on its way to Mexico, or it's, you know, completely lost. Anyway, I got back to London and went to the baggage claim, and my bag was just there in the corner. Like, who knows how long that's been there? It was just in the corner of the baggage claim. Weird, right? And I've also had, I lost my baggage on my way to Germany, in Berlin, 2014, for the European Championships. I literally, for about a week it wasn't there, and I lost my camera. That was a whole nightmare of a trip. So yeah, I've had experiences where I've lost my bags, and it happens more often than you'd think. Okay, so the top comment. So Lance, Matty, and you are in love with each other. So can we get Who Knows Me Better with you, Lance and Matty? That's a good idea. Like a little husband versus work husband. You're onto a winner there. Your mother. Nice name. So yeah, I'll try and make that work at some point soon. But in the meantime, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like and comment questions for next week, and if you have any other video ideas that you want to see, then drop them in the comments and I will be sure to try it. But anyway, peace out, love y'all, and I'll see you soon.